This week we are launching our prayer workshop. Now I imagine some of you are wondering what on earth this is all about. Well, it is linked to the prayer course, and it's most closely related to session 6 and session 7 on contemplation and listening. But it's certainly not only for people that have been doing the course. It really is for everyone. And I do hope that you will all give it a try and see if there's an activity that appeals to you. If you want to find the materials, they are all on the website along with this video. There's a prayer booklet and there are associated audio and visual files and also some YouTube clips. In addition, there are 1 or 2 PDF sheets. If you have any difficulty accessing these, please email the office at Hopthorne Church and someone will get back to you to help you. Now, I wonder what you think of when you think of prayer. Maybe you've got some preconceptions that you might like to look at this week, some assumptions that you've always made. Perhaps you've always assumed that you have to sit still to pray. Maybe you've always been used to using set words and phrases. Maybe you feel that we always have to be polite to God, to tell him the things that he wants to hear. Well, actually, I think that our prayer life is much more reflective of our personalities. God's made us all as unique individuals, and he just loves us just the way we are, and he's happy to meet us in whatever way we find most helpful. It may be that you enjoy going walking, and a prayer walk might appeal to you. You may be very creative. You might like to use art media to respond to God in prayer. Maybe someone who likes to read and reflect, or someone that likes to write. All those things are included in this workshop. There's also mention of journaling. Now, journaling is something that I've been doing for quite a while, and it's actually quite different from that which is posted on the website, which has been taken from the prayer course. My journaling is much less formalised and much more spontaneous. I have what's more like a scrapbook in which I just keep ideas, quotations, pictures, things that have just popped up to me in my mind as being significant. And it also contains an awful lot of questions about what God's doing, why things are happening, why I don't seem to be getting any answers to my prayers and so on. And I found it absolutely fascinating and really reassuring to have this scrapbook, this prayer journal, because I can look back over the last few years and I can see so clearly how all those questions that I have now been answered. That things that I really couldn't understand, I really puzzled over, have come to fruition. Pictures that I had, words that spoke to me from the Bible and from elsewhere, now suddenly have an increased meaning. So I would really encourage you to have a go at keeping a journal, just noting down anything that pops up in your head during the course of this week. Because I think it is absolutely amazing how God does speak to us, sometimes in the most unexpected and strange ways. And sometimes it's about just being alert and just noticing those things that God is saying. Now, Ollie Newell described prayer as being unbusy with God. And I don't think by that he meant that we kind of were doing nothing, although perhaps it might feel like that sometimes. What he meant was that we weren't doing all those things in our lives that keep us busy. And it is really important to actually set aside some time for doing these activities in a quiet and peaceful space. It doesn't necessarily mean that you are sitting silently, but it does mean that you've got a space which you have set aside, which is just for you and God for this particular moment. And for some of you, that might be quite hard to organise. If it helps, I find also that putting something in my diary helps. For example, I put my prayer walk in my diary, and that encourages me not to put anything over it. If you can get someone to enable you to have some spare time, that would be really good. Maybe asking someone to look after children for you, or just to enable you to have half an hour which is purely for you. You'll get so much more out of these activities if you're not continually looking at your watch. Another description of prayer comes from Mother Teresa. I don't know if the story is true, but the story goes that a journalist was interviewing Mother Teresa and asked her what happened when she prayed. To which she said, "Well, I mostly just listen." To which the journalist said, "So what does God do?" And she said, "Well, he mostly just listens." And that can be quite a hard thing to do when you first try and do it. It's so instinctive to want to do something, to natter on, to feel that we always have to be active and doing things. But actually, I hope you will find some of these activities give you the opportunity to still yourself and to just listen. Sometimes just being active in doing a creative activity frees the mind to reflect and to listen in a way that you might not do otherwise. Either way, I encourage you to have it go if you possibly can. If you'd like to give me some feedback on how you find the activities, that would be lovely. There's no need to. If you want to discuss some of what you've done in your groups, in your Connect groups, then please take that opportunity. But equally, as I've said before, there's actually no reason why you have to. If this is about doing something deeply personal in your relationship with God and you want to keep it that way, then that is absolutely fine. However, I would say that it's possible that in doing some of these activities, things that you haven't really known about or understood before might come to the surface, and you might be a bit shocked or a bit surprised. And if you find that happening, don't sit on it. Let either Wim or I know, and we will happily take some time to talk to you about your experiences, if that would help. If you've got any other queries, please just email me or WhatsApp me. I hope you really enjoy this workshop.